Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. We are back with a brand new episode of TGIF. I am, of course, Claudia Jordan, and joining me, of course, are my amazing co-hosts. Please welcome Al Reynolds. What's up, Al?
Hey, what's going on, Claudia? How you feeling?
I'm better. My face has finally gone down. I had some other treatments done today, so hopefully I won't look like a monster anymore. So I'm happy about
better.
I do. I found out from all the antibiotics I was taking from my surgeries that it just activated some stuff in my face. I got some nodules, so I had to have them injected today to break them down. So anyways, thank God for technology, because I was looking
I do want to do this really quickly, Claudia. I want to give a shout out to I'm here in Los Angeles, and guys, I got to go to the FOXSOUL Christmas party. We did the FOXSOUL Christmas party with Fox First Run. I got to meet James. I wasn't able to see James, but I was able to see Stephen Brown, who is, you guys know who he is, EVP over at Fox. He hires all of us. He spoke very highly of Funky and Claudia. He actually watches the show. I got to meet Brad Hart from First Run, Fox First Run.
That's who signed our checks, accounting.
That's right. He oversees our checks. But I got to guess who? I got to see Eric Strong. Shout out to the money man for FOXSOUL. All of the advertising is because he's attributed to him. Great seeing you, Eric. We got to see Justin, our producer. I got to meet him. He dressed like Prince. He had on this cool outfit. He had on this leopard shirt and white shoes. I mean, he was killing it. I got to see Derek Lafayette, our senior broker, Derica Abraham, who works for our CFO at Fox, and also my good friend Tamara Houston, and Jerry McConnell over at Real Love Boat, who works for another Fox show, was there, and we were kind of dressed alike, and we weren't best dressed. I just want to say, hey, Fox family, and thank you. We had a great time at the Christmas party last night.
Q, you see what he's doing, right?
What?
I guess me and your invitation got lost in the mail, honey.
I'm a cozy up to the money people. I'm a shout them out of the show.
Wait, Al, let us find out you're trying to be like Latasha Scott and go solo on the.
I think he did.
And leave.
Please.
Leave Claudia over here.
Now he went to FOXSOUL Christmas party.
Not even close. And also, I met Brooke. I'm sorry, I left out one person. I met Brooke. Hey, Brooke.
Claudia, we gotta watch the Al. He trying to go solo.
Okay, Beyonce.
Please welcome Funky, not even my new partner here.
Right.
It's my partner.
Me and Claudia gonna be a duo, honey, because Al we gotta pay attention to his ass, Claudia. He trying to go solo.
Mm-hmm. I see it. Anyways, it's Friday, so I want to remind the soulmates in the chat to please put your questions for us that we'll be answering the last segment of the show. And y'all been giving us, I don't know if it's y'all been giving us safe questions or the producers are picking only the safe questions. Y'all be blaming me. Give me your juiciest questions. We ready. We finally at a place we're ready to answer some of the stuff. I think we'll see. All right, y'all. Let's get into the show. We have a whole lot to talk about. First of all, what y'all got going on for this weekend? Anybody got any plans this weekend?
I got a friend having a little Christmas get together at her house tomorrow. My friend, shout out to Kia Graves. She cooks real good. Matter of fact, you commented on the Instagram, Claudia, when the last friend's house I was at, when she had the Thanksgiving party or birthday party or something on it. They cooked all the good deviled eggs and stuff. So we going around her house tomorrow to eat up all her food. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice. Al, what you doing this weekend?
I'm going to try to make my way back to the Rosewood property that I went last year this time. It's in Mexico. It's about an hour outside of Tulum. So I'm going to spend a couple of days there so I can regroup. I'm like mentally and physically exhausted and trying to just get a second air.
Right. That's all that escorting you've been out there doing.
Look, it's Christmas, brother.
Mm-hmm. Jingle bells and deck the halls.
Okay.
I have no plans. I was trying to go to Atlanta for something. There's a mayor's ball tomorrow. It didn't work out. And I feel like, when I'm bored, I was looking up some flights to Aruba and they were looking kind of cheap. So I don't know. I might be broadcasting.
Love an Aruba beach.
Until I find a better beach. I love that beach and I love the food. Okay, let's get into it. A Winston-Salem State University student was arrested inside the classroom for allegedly refusing to apologize to a white professor after a disagreement about her class final. I thought this was just, wow, this is really interesting. Let's take a look.
I swear to God, I hate you, bro. You're the worst teacher ever. You can get me taken out of here because I want to apologize? Because I want to apologize? You started yelling at me. You trying to embarrass me about my paper.
So Layla Hamad went on Instagram to explain what happened and said the Black arresting officer tried to de-escalate the situation, but claims the white officer used force. Now, Layla was charged with a second-degree misdemeanor and was released from jail because for a clean record, nothing on her record. The university released the following statement about the incident. We are aware of the video circulating on social media involving a student in a classroom. The incident is under investigation. Our highest priority is the safety of our students, faculty, and staff. Currently, there is no immediate threat to campus. What are your thoughts on the story, Al? I know one of your many jobs, you was a teacher somewhere, a professor, a teacher, a superintendent. So please, what are your thoughts on this? Because I know we talked about it in our chat.
You know, this is actually super sad. It's super sad because this particular unruly student has made this a race issue, and that's not what this is. I, in fact, was a professor at HBCU, and I've been in a very similar situation. And our policy and procedure is to call campus police. But let's be very clear here. This particular white professor has been there 17 years. Not only has she been there 17 years, but she's also the co-chair of the university's social justice department. So she's done countless hours of community outreach and social justice as it relates to the city of Winston-Salem. We know that she's highly regarded at the university and how she deals with the African-American students there. And the other thing is she wasn't the professor that called the police, the campus police. It was the professor that was teaching next to her because she heard the unruly student being very loud and disrespectful. Now, this is the rule on campus of college campus is if you're disruptive in that classroom and the teacher or the professor asks you to leave, you have to leave. And if you don't leave, it's their policy and procedure to call campus security to have you escorted out of the room, which is exactly what they did. So as far as I'm concerned, she did exactly what she was supposed to do because she had an unruly student who was disrupting the classroom and causing a whole lot of what we would say compromising her ability to keep control of the classroom. And that's not right.
Okay. Q, what do you think?
Damn, Al, you done messed up all my commentary, child. I done got on here prepared to call the lady all type of white devils and why we should hire white people at HBCUs to teach our black students and so on and so forth. But that's why you the fact man. After you laid out the facts, you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I mean, you can't, like my mama said, I sent you to school to learn. All right, you can't be up in there cussing them folks out and thinking that there's no consequences. So if according to the story and what you said is correct, then I have to stand down. And mama, you can't go down there cussing that white lady out down to that black school. You go end up in that black jail.
My opinion, I'm going to disagree a little bit with you guys both. I watched the students live. There was like several parts and she explained her side. I'm not just going to take this lady's side because it's not like that doesn't happen where one side says it from their perspective. They're going to say from their perspective. The student said it was part of a final. The teacher wanted her to redo it. She's part of a group assignment and she didn't want to redo it. She didn't want to have her group be out of pocket with their final. It escalated. I think there's other ways of de-escalating situation than this girl being, she was handcuffed. I saw her being cuffed. And I think that somewhere along the way, it didn't have to go from that to that. Yes, unruly, I get it. Apparently they swore at each other. And I do feel a way about white teachers teaching at an HBCU. I feel like that's part of being at an HBCU. In my opinion, I feel like we should go there and it should be a safe place. And I think there's different nuance with how we talk. And I'm seeing people are actually reminding me in the chat that this teacher had continuously received complaints and some low ratings. So I think
that's not true.
Well, I mean,
I spoke to a board member of the university who happens to be my frat brother, who was also in my wedding, because I was very interested in his story. This student has taken a racially sensitive environment that we're in and made this a racial issue when the university is clear that she followed her policy and procedures. Now, the interesting thing, Claudia, I've taught at a HBC for 5 years, and most of the white professors that are there because of the cultural sensitivity that they have around educating children of color. They make a very safe environment. They're usually very developmental with students of color. I can't sit here as a professor who has worked at a HBCU and have been colleagues with white professors and say that they shouldn't be working at a HBCU. That's completely inappropriate.
I disagree. I disagree. And there's a lot of comments in the chat right now saying that this lady has gotten a lot. We're going to have to go deeper into this and find out if she has, because too many people are saying the same thing. And I just want to, I'm going to take it from the student's perspective, because a lot of people, there were witnesses in that class that said that the teacher yelled first. So, you know what? Developing. How about that? And that's the point of this show. We don't have to always agree, and we shouldn't.
I will say this, though. We do need to get back to a point where I was just raised old school, and I'm just not about children cussing out grown folks. Like, right. I have zero tolerance for that, and grown folks shouldn't be talking to students like some people consider college students to be grown. When I was in college, I would have never gotten into a screaming match with my professor, regardless of what they did. I would have gone to the provost. Or, I had a ghetto mama. I'd have called my mama, and she'd have came to the school and kicked the professor's ass.
I agree with you. My brother he's an educator as well up in Boston, and he's had to deal with at-risk youth a lot and had to deal with a lot of emotional issues. So this is something that's dear and near to my family as well, my heart. I just feel like I don't want to discount the students that said that the teacher raised their voice first. We had a very inappropriate teacher in my school, in high school, that said a lot of racist and wrong things to us. And sexual things, and people brushed it off back in the 90s, right? Like, whatever, don't disrespect the teacher. Come to find out, he later was arrested for, he was like a molester. And later on we found out, but no one wanted to believe the kids. So you know what, this is what we do here at FOXSOUL. Any new developments on the straight, we'll definitely revisit this and we'll talk about it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if Al's wrong, he's wrong. But I think it's worth further discussion. This is too important of a story, Agreed. Okay, let's get into the next story. Megan Thee Stallion, y'all, appeared in court rocking a purple suit and the infamous court bob. The court bob is a hairstyle worn by celebrities like Blac Chyna, Cardi B, and more, who have appeared in court to defend themselves against legal battles. Do you think celebrities are being, strategic by wearing conservative outfits and the signature court bob to the court? Q, let's start with you.
Most definitely, right? They even teach this in law school, despite the fact that I ain't never went. But they teach, about bias of appearance. You know what I'm saying? And when you're Cardi B or when you're Megan and your whole celebrity brand is spandex and ass and titties flopping all over the place, obviously you're not going to show up to court like that, because no matter what, people are not going to be objective when looking at you like that. You're going to wear your St. John suit, your nice tailored Ralph Lauren suit. You're not going to wear your 22 inches stripper weave. You're going to wear your conservative, may I speak to the manager, Bob, or whatever the case may be. And y'all, did y'all see the video when Megan got out the car? And Black people, I love us because have such creative imaginations. The man goes, "Why you lied on that boy? You look good in that purple."
I think you're on mute.
I had the tape guy. I got so excited I had to mute the thing. Shout out to celebrity stylist Kellen Derrick, who did a good job on her bob, because that bob says, "Baby, I came here to win."
Yeah, you have to do that. Like, especially if you have such a sexual image, you can't show up. Especially, the jury is probably going to be mostly conservative folks. Al, what do you think about, you're the brand strategist. What do you think about the look?
I think she got half of it right and half of it could have been a little bit better. But, Megan got that good money. So we know for a fact, and especially the lawyer that she's working with is really expensive. And what happens in this case is they hire trial consultants, and the trial consultants tell you what you're supposed to wear in order to endear the jury. She did an awesome job with the hair. She did an awesome job with wearing what would be considered a pantsuit covering her arms and legs, because that's usually what she shows the most. I think just in the fashion of Megan, she wore purple, and we all know that trial consultants probably would discourage such a bright color because that's considered flashy. Trial consultants in cases like this try to tell you, don't be too flashy, don't wear sunglasses, and don't wear expensive clothes, because the jury can feel some kind of way and not have empathy towards you. So the fact that she didn't wear something neutral pastel and a less toned down color lets me know that she got the bob right, but the other side of getting empathy from the jury, she may have compromised. But, we'll see.
And just a reminder, this is not Megan Thee Stallion's trial. She should actually be able to wear what she wants because she's not the one on trial, but it kind of is, but it's not supposed to be. And Tory tried it by bringing his son on his back, which I don't think his son needs to be in the courtroom hearing all this stuff. I think that was
a part of him being advised, right? To get the empathy.
Sure.
He wore a suit. He looked normal. It was beige. It was neutral. It was toned down. And he put his son on his shoulder to show that he's a family guy and that he needs to be with his son in order to raise him instead of being in a jail. Very clever on his team as well. Good job, guys.
No, and you know what? To that point, whether he shot her or not, I'm not mad at nobody for doing what they're supposed to do to try to win. I mean,
that's right.
That's you supposed to wheel your diabetic grandma with one leg in there.
Right.
You're supposed to wheel her in there holding the Bible if it'll help you win. So
I forgot to ask y'all drinking tonight?
I'm drinking in the words of my auntie. I mean, she can't say Sprite, she says Strike. So I'm in here drinking some Strike.
I'm drinking, I think.
What you drinking?
A little bit of Hennessy and Coke.
You going through a bad breakup? You got your Mary J. Blige Knock on Cry Shades on.
Right, what's going on with that?
No, I lost my, I didn't lose, I left them in a car, my glasses. So these are my only other glasses that I can see that have prescription in it. So in order for me to see the teleprompter and when to go to commercial, like right now, we need to go to commercial, I have to wear these.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back with more TGIF. Make sure you put your questions in the chat. We're going to answer them at the end of the show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to TGIF. Make sure you put your questions in the chat for us for the end of the show. I already see one that said, when y'all about to give us prizes for TGIF for watching 2 Years Strong? That's Our Love 144. They want some gifts for watching.
You know what? That's yeah, we should.
We need to put together some merch. We are going to put together some merch for you guys to buy and support us. How about
and
that?
then since Al going solo and he getting a bigger contract than us, it can come out of his budget.
True, don't start.
Maybe we'll do
start those type of crazy.
We'll do Funky and Claudia shirts. We'll be on one, and then he can have
his own
another
one. Right.
We'll put the picture of him in a Speedo on that one on the back.
Yeah, well,
on the bike.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, y'all. On a recent episode of The Checkup with Dr. David Agus, Nick Cannon made an admission about the time he spends with his 11 children. Nick said, after being a father of multiple kids, it's always the biggest guilt on me is that I don't get enough time to spend with all of my children. He added, 1, because I'm constantly working, and 2, because I'm just spread thin. All right, now, what are your thoughts on this admission, Al? What you think?
I thought it was interesting. Let me tell you what I thought was really interesting about this is that all his kids are actually all under 5, pretty much, except for the ones from Mariah. I didn't expect that this conversation would come out so fast and so soon because the kids are so young. I thought it would have developed as they got older, like school age or whatever. But, a lot of people in the comments said that he should be able to do what he wants to do because he can afford it. But obviously, given this admission, listen, it has absolutely nothing to do with money. You can have all the money in the world, but you simply can't be in all places at all time. And being a father, we know that can lead to bad things, especially during those developmental years. So, I think I'm actually glad to hear it come out of his mouth because it means that he knows that is something that he definitely has to work on and make it better.
That's right. Q, what do you think?
I like this statement, but I hate the implication. And let me explain what I mean. I like the statement because for me, it shows that Nick is rational, reasonable, and logical, that he understands what we've all been saying. You can't spend all your time with these children. That being said, it concerns me because if you know that, then why do you continue to have more children? And it leads me to believe that there is some self-serving or some devious reason that you keep having these children, knowing full well that you can't spend the time necessary with them to give them the types of fulfilling lives that they need. The only thing I can do, Nick, at this point is just suggest that you hold conventions at your house quarterly. And just, you got enough to create a whole damn Essence Festival in your living room. Invite their mothers, invite their grandparents, and just hold conventions at your house and try to make lemonade out of these lemons at this point.
Yeah, it does seem like in all other areas and before all this went down that he was a very rational person that made very few, if any, mistakes. Like we didn't really hear about Nick Cannon making any mistakes. He seemed like he always got it right. He got married, had kids, did it the conventional way. Then he got out of this, got sick. And then it was just like, child after child. I wonder if he got caught up in like the buzz. You know how addicting it could be? Like, Nick Cannon was in the news probably every couple of weeks. Like we were having a baby photo shoot, a prenatal photo shoot, a prenatal visit. You know what I mean? We were seeing a lot of this. And I wonder if it got addicting because it seems like he just like was one-upping himself. I don't know if he got off on that or what it was about, but knowing that, like the fact that he realizes he doesn't have enough time, well, you never really had enough time. And imagine small children, how much time they require. And then hearing from the mothers, a lot of these women are first-time mothers. I know my girl, Lanisha Cole, that used to be on The Price is Right. Like you by yourself, you're going to be relying heavily on the father, I would think. And it would have been so much better I guess I shouldn't be judging, but it would have been easier if you had a lot of kids with one or two people than spreading them out with so many different locations, so many different women. They can't possibly all love each other. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Carter, you brought up a good point because that's what my next question is. So my next question is the women who come next that have babies by him, they are clearly, knowing what they are doing, right? They are having a kid that's going to be neglected in essence. So any woman that deals with him and has a baby after him, shame on you because you are doing it knowingly know that he can't be a really good father to your child.
I'm curious to know if these women are allowed per Nick to engage in other relationships with other men.
Mm-hmm.
Usually not.
Because in that regard, those kids could have a full-time father figure. You know what I'm saying? But we know the way men operate, and I could just so see a man being upset. Let's just say, for instance, they're getting $10,000 a pop per kid. You getting the one that got 3. You getting $30,000 a month off of me, and you and your new dude living off of my money. With my kids, I can see him getting upset. But I would be curious to know if the women are allowed to engage in other relationships.
It seems like with those kind of men, like you kind of can't. Anyways, I hope they're all happy. I really do. And I do like Nick Cannon. And, I hope he's able to spread that time out. All right, y'all, we got to pick the show with some fun topics here. We got serious stuff, and we also got our regular scheduled shady stuff. So let's get into this story. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this. The New York Times included the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Shereé Whitfield, on their list of 93 most stylish people for 2022. The New York Times wrote this about the people who made their list. Love them or hate them, all have at least one thing in common. At some point over the past 12 months, they made us talk about how we dress, how we live, and how we choose to express ourselves. We welcome dissent, but we are without a doubt correct. What are your thoughts on Shereé being added to that list? Al, this is one of your many friends. Go ahead.
Listen, listen. Shereé has had a tough couple of months after that debacle over there with She by Shereé. But let's be honest, she's got a beautiful body. She looks good in everything that she wears. She's been a stylish woman for a really long time. And honestly, from a branding perspective, we definitely talked about her in the fashion space, whether it was positive or negative, and probably one of the biggest stories in the fashion space. So according to the criteria to be ranked, she deserved to be ranked. But Shereé, call me because I will help you flip this negative perception using this very positive coverage. I got you, babe.
Q, what do you think? Hold on. Let me have a drink before you go.
Shereé has always been stylish. You have to give her that. I'll never forget season 1 of Housewives of Atlanta came out, and I had some girlfriends that like looked up to her for her style. I can't take that away from her. It just always baffles me, though, people who get accolades for style and fashion, but don't even wear the very stuff they sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Kimora Lee Simmons, she had her Baby Fat line, and then she had KLS, which was like her upper tier line or whatever. But every time you were on the runway, you had on Dolce and you had Givenchy. You had Beyonce who had House of Darion, but she wasn't even wearing that mess. So I don't know. While I do think she's stylish, I just think I would like it more if you were stylish in the very things that you're trying to sell us to get our money from. Like, you want our money, but you won't even wear the very shit that you sell. And you wouldn't have even made the list for the very shit that you sell. But go ahead, girl. You look good in them white people stuff.
I was surprised to see her name on there as far as like style. Not that she doesn't have any, but they're usually these abstract people that it's like usually like a weird style. It's usually not like, she's kind of like more, how do I say it?
Safe. Her style is very safe.
It's pretty safe. Now, does she dress badly? No, I don't think so. I think she looks good. I think she's been reinventing herself lately. Her glam has been super duper on point. She's been looking fly. She always has her body together. But I was like, okay, I ain't mad at the list. I mean, when we were on Deal or No Deal, we got to be on 100 most beautiful list. And I was like, whatever PR publicist person hooked that up, thank you. I'll take it. It's on my resume. You can't take that away from me. I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But okay.
I'm surprised Marlo didn't make the list. And Shereé did. But a lot of people don't consider Marlo stylish. They just say she's a label whore and just puts on labels. So, I don't know the criteria, but I was just shocked to see that Shereé made the list and Marlo didn't.
Well, do you agree with that sentiment about Marlo?
Yeah, I mean, while I think Marlo do be put together, and while I do think when she walk into a room, you turn your head, it do be the label. She is a label whore.
I think style, like, it depends on the part of the country you're in, right? Like, I'm no fashionista myself. I'm gonna be the first to admit it, but like what I would see in different parts of the country, like LA versus Atlanta versus New York. New York, I see people that can put the lowest of budget, like cheapest of things on and put it together in such a way that they're stylish. It looks good no matter where it's from. It's from Zara's, from H&M. It just looks bomb. They are stylish. I feel like places like Atlanta, don't be mad at me, Atlanta, but I feel like Atlanta is definitely a place where it's labels and people will be like, oh, you be dressing just because everything says Gucci on it or everything says YSL. It's definitely a place where labels will get you that respect more than the actual talent of putting stuff together in an interesting way.
Talking about Marlo though, Q, you were on the Miss Pat show. Marlo is the stylist for Tammy. Mm-hmm. Tammy Roman on the Miss Pat show, and Tammy be looking fly as hell on that show.
She don't style her on Miss Pat. She styles her on her MTV show.
Oh, okay, sorry. I knew it was one of them because Tammy showed her wardrobe room and said that Marlo styles.
Yeah, Miss Pat, that's costume. That's the costume department. She styles her on the show, that the cheating show that she has.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Cheating show. You're right.
On the show. Yes, and she does a very good job. And speaking of, I've always thought that was the lane Marlo should have been in because she definitely can put the clothes together.
Right.
That's a good look for her then. If you're good, if you love fashion, you love clothes, whether it's style, like labels or not, like I think that if you have a talent for that, then that's a great place for her to be.
And you know what? As much as I fire up on Marlo, I have to give credit where credit is due. Y'all be sure to patronize her showroom. She has a showroom
in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, where you can go get stuff. I forgot what it's called. So y'all make sure when y'all always tell her I'm firing up on her ass, that I actually have a lot of respect for her in the clothing space and gave her a shout out to her showroom. Now the fashions might be stolen because y'all know Marlo be known for the pumps in Miami with them credit cards. That's why I call her MasterCard Marlo. The fashions might be stolen. It might have a little the tag on it from the ink
sensor.
The sensor on it, but you gonna look good.
All right, y'all. We're gonna take a quick
and it's a joke. I'm just joking, y'all. I'm just joking.
Hey, we're gonna take
when I call her MasterCard Marlo, but go ahead.
All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We have a lot of show left for y'all. Make sure you put your questions in the chat so we can read them at the very end for the three of us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to TGIF. All right, have I got something for you? Now, if you're 50 or older, listen up. If you're listening to this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance sponsorship ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking, life insurance. I'm going to live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of this argument, let's assume you're wrong and that someday you won't be listening to podcasts anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. Now, for a free quote, just visit GerberLifeFamily.com. Then when you stop, if you stop listening to podcasts, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Now, your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab too. See the website for terms and restrictions. and check him out. All right, y'all, let's get back to the topics. We got some news about GloRilla. And
I hope she ain't eating condiments off of French fries. Condiments off of French fries.
Man, well, she responded to criticism she received after she offered to pay a personal assistant $550 a week. Take a look.
Have on at least you don't gotta do for real. It's just if it come down to it, you might have to do it. But it's literally the easiest in the world. You really don't gotta do it, but be with me every day.
Now, Little Duval saw GloRilla's video and decided to add his 2 cents. He tweeted, "Folks really saying $550 a week to be GloRilla's assistant ain't enough. Y'all bleeps want CEO salary for an entry-level position. What are your thoughts on how much GloRilla wants to pay her assistant, Al?"
You get what you pay for. What Q say? You get what you pay for. And her and Little Duval are silly to me. We all know that a celebrity assistant, she's with her all day. She says she flies with her. We'll have to fly with her every day. Celebrity assistants work about 12 to 16 hours a day. Some are on call 24 hours. If her assistant works 12 hours a day, that's 84 hours a week, $550 a week, that's $6.50 an hour. Nobody doing that. And if they do, they're doing it for an ulterior motive. But I don't think I would trust paying anybody $6.50. That's got to protect my confidentiality, kind of watch my money, not rob from me, keep, work and be efficient and good and loyal and honest. I don't know. I think she needs to rethink this. It's not that simple, but as a 23-year-old, maybe she thinks it is, but it's really not.
You?
It's horrible. It's that same crap that we saw from Summer Walker not too long ago. And it's new money, it's new attitude. And quite frankly, I think at a minimum, and this is just me being very generous, at a minimum, the job should pay $1,000 a week. That's $4,000. But real talk, it really should be on some like $6,000 a month type SHIT. Right. You know what I'm saying? When you think about if this is this person's full-time job, they're unable to secure any other type of resources, baby, that's not even enough for them to get an apartment and drive a Toyota Corolla. You know what I'm saying? How are they supposed to eat? Now, if you're telling me the position comes with free room and board and a vehicle, then yeah, and health insurance, then yeah, it just becomes spending money. And then, GloRilla, whoever around you isn't advising you well, because you put the person on payroll and write it off at the end of the year. Considering how much money you're going to be bringing in as a performer, you need as many offsets across your income anyway. So hell, pay the people $10,000 a month. All you got to do is front it to tax time and write it off.
I wonder, is it really a full-time position? Because it should say sometimes you'll be with me, sometimes you'll have to not do, you'll do very little. I use an assistant, but I don't have someone on payroll full-time. It's like kind of like per assignment thing. Like sometimes I'll get someone will send me, hey, can you host this party? And I'll say, hey, Trey, can you take care of this? He'll just deal with the contract. And he's not he's like an assistant / he like handles some of my things, he oversees, and I'll just throw him like a percentage of it, right? When I'm out of town, I'm like, hey, can you go by my house and feed my cats? I'll just cash app him $100 or $200. He lives literally like down the street from me, and I overpay him. But like, I don't. Some weeks it's not $500 a week. Some weeks it's probably $100 a week. Sometimes it's $200 a week. But it's like a per case thing. So I'm wondering, because there is a huge difference, because some assistants get $150 a day. I know a lot of assistants get $150 a day. And plus perks. I know a lot of them that get that. Is this in fact a full-time job? And of course, for 16-hour days, I don't know who's doing that, but if you are, it's a whole different ballpark. That's a whole different thing. But if you're just doing little, pick up a dry cleaning hair, drop off a cat at a kennel there, then I see it, but not those crazy hours you set out. Of course, you would get that kind of money.
She said that the girl or whoever the assistant is will travel with her every day. She said she travels every day. She's on a flight every day. And in the conversation, she said that the reason why you get $550 is because you're flying with me and I'm paying for it. And I'm paying for your food too. So she, in her mind, she feels like because she's paying the assistant to fly with her every day, that should be a part of her compensation.
I'm only flying to work.
Ridiculous. Yeah. And
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you have to compensate that young lady. If you want her to travel with you or him, you have to compensate them to travel with you. And if that means you putting them on the plane, that's your expense. That don't have nothing to do with coming out of her pay.
And that's why you can tell she don't know what she's doing or what she's talking about.
She really don't.
You can tell like a new promoter when they say, hey, we're going to fly you, plus we want to book you for this. And it's like some rate. And they go, and we're going to fly you in and put you, I'm like, duh.
Duh, that comes with it. Where else I'm going to stay? I understand, truthfully, GloRilla and Summer Walker both would be better off getting like a family member or a cousin to do that.
Right, for sure.
All right, y'all, we got to take a break again, but we have someone that we have not talked about in a while. Tristan can't put a condom on it. Thompson, we got some news on him. We got more on him when we come back from this quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to TGIF. If you're feeling the show, throw some flames in the chat. And also while you at it, throwing flames in the chat, throw your hot ass questions for us that we will be getting to at the end of the show. It's Friday, so it's F around and find out Friday. That's what I'm gonna call it. F around and find out Friday. So ask us some questions and we're gonna get to you with your answers. All right, y'all. Tristan Thompson. We haven't talked about him in a while. He finally settled his paternity case with Maralee Nichols, the mother of his 1-year-old child. Thompson has agreed to pay $9,500 a month in child support, and it's also covering some of Nichols' lawyer fees. Q, let's go to you first. What are your thoughts on the settlement?
Mama made out like a bandit. I ain't got no kids and I never had to pay child support. Is that all yours or you have to pay tax out of that?
I think it's tax-free.
Okay, if that's tax-free, then mama, you doing good. Because what? Let's just say you get you a $4,000 apartment. That leaves you with $5,000. You get you a $1,000 car note. That leaves you with $4,000. You get $1,000 a month in groceries. That leaves you with $3,000. You spend $2,000 a month on clothes, and you got another $1,000 for utilities. You doing damn good to not have to do shit for 18 years. I can make it do what it do, $9,500. But I can make it do what it do to not have to work.
And then the baby school, hopefully he'll put in on that too.
Right. And then hell, my baby just won't go to school.
Because you got to have $1,000 car before the school.
my baby I'm gonna just teach my baby how to be an Instagram star.
You don't have no babies.
My baby. I know one thing. My money won't be going to daycare. If I'm sitting at home, I would be homeschooling my baby until I ask to go to public school. I'm keeping all my $9,500.
Can you imagine Q homeschooling the baby? the baby have Gucci socks.
No, you gotta get up to 6 o'clock.
Let me tell you something.
That's the whole school.
That is my Prada and my Chanel money. I am not giving no daycare $2,500 and $3,000 of my money. Not my goddamn money. Not when I'm sitting at home. I'm sitting at home.
But some of these people ain't qualified to school.
Girl, you better take your ass down there to Target and get you some flashcards.
Some what?
Flashcards.
Enough.
That's an old school way of teaching the kids.
Put their ass with some flashcards.
But you know what's so funny to me in this situation? Is it worth it, Tristan, for $2 million for the life of this child? You're on the hook for $2 million. But let me tell you something. That young lady, what's her name? Maralee, whatever her name is. Nichols, that was a smart woman. She hired an attorney, and an attorney told her, get out of the state of Texas and go be pregnant in the state of California. Why? Because California has the highest rates for child support in the country, number one. Also, we learned that the state of California have a broader definition of income determining support, because his argument was he no longer plays professional basketball, but in the state of California, it has nothing to do with how much you make. It has to do with your accumulated wealth. And the last thing the lawyer told her was, precedent shows us that you're going to get less money in the state of Texas. that man should feel like a complete clown because he got played. That woman was smart and she took him for a minimum of $2 million. Not to mention that child has to live a lifestyle similar to the supporter, meaning the person who has to pay. So if Tristan flies private, that child has to fly private.
Let me tell you something, ladies in Texas. Don't get pregnant here. The laws are not for us. They got some old 1882 laws here in Texas. I had a lawsuit against a company here, and it was very pro-man, pro-business here. And it's something that I've not updated here. I'm not mad at her at all because she's probably not gonna stay in Texas the rest of her life anyways. And hey, go to Cali. Listen, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I feel no sympathy for Tristan. You can't just go raw dogging these women and be like so surprised when they want to get the max out of you and not gonna have you. Look, I wouldn't do it. But
former accountant here. I just did the math. And it really isn't that bad. I'm gonna tell you why. $1 million in the bank and a simple savings account will bring you $100,000 a year in interest income. $9,500 a month for a year is $114,000. So you put $2 million in the bank, plus the interest income that you make on that. Literally, the interest alone would take care of the child support payments.
Where? Because I have a good amount of money in my bank account. I've been getting like $5 interest. Please help me out after the show.
I will.
Because the math ain't mathing over here. And I'm okay.
I'm gonna buy you some short-term notes since you're not using the money for investments. Get a higher interest rate payout on your idle cash.
My cash in my savings account is making no interest, and it's.
Oh, and I got to tell you about a new cryptocurrency agency I'm part of, honey. That's paying 2.73% a week, honey. I've been making some money. I'll talk to you offline about it.
Someone scammed me out of 20,000 one of those, so we'll have to talk.
I'm making mine. I'm making mine.
FTX.
I'm getting it while the getting is good, baby. She paying.
The beginning usually does, and then when I sign on, it crashes. All right, y'all. We will have a conversation after the show for real. Okay, y'all. Married adult film star Karen Karma appeared on the No Jumper podcast and said she would pay Moneybag Yo $100,000 to have sex with her off camera. Okay, what are your thoughts on her offer to Moneybag Yo? Al, I know you take it.
You know I would take it. I mean, hey, she's got the money. We understand that she, makes over $1 million a year. Her net worth is pretty high. So if she wants to spend $100,000 for one night stand with Moneybag Yo, then, I mean, that's her prerogative. I just think in my head, doesn't he have like 8 kids, 4 baby mamas? If he was a regular Joe, would this be a normal situation where women would want to pay him $100,000 to have sex?
Probably not, but he'd be a damn fool if he didn't take it. I'd be in their whole DMs right now. As a matter of fact, I'd be on the phone with her husband, having her husband make the hotel arrangements and
do you want to watch?
And talking up to her husband about, like, can we do anal? Can we do oral? Where can I finish? Because obviously the husband don't mind if she was, first of all, the husband don't mind because she's in the industry. Right. Secondly, she was bold enough to say this publicly. Listen. And I'm gonna tell you something, because I got a couple friends that's prostitutes, babe. I'm gonna tell you what you do. Because y'all know I don't judge. I make friends from all walks of life. My friends that's prostitutes, they tell me, when they really don't want to do it, they either give the man a quick experience or, they help him get high to the point where he can't work. I go in there and give her 30 seconds of love and then walk out with my damn money. I come so quick and walk out with my damn money.
Well, speaking of coming, Georgia health officials are pleading with the public to incorporate safer sex practices as the state sees an influx of gonorrhea and syphilis cases. Now, according to the Georgia Department of Health, new cases jumped 17% in 2021. And over the past decade, gonorrhea and syphilis cases have seen an overall 60% increase. What are your thoughts on this spike, this STD spike in Georgia? When I was living there, they said they had HIV rates similar to third world countries. We're going to start with you first.
I love gonorrhea. Ain't never hurt nobody.
Actually, it has.
Okay. Y'all listen.
It's syphilis too, Q. Syphilis.
You go blind from syphilis.
I can't talk about the syphilis. I wasn't part of the Tuskegee experiment. You know what I'm saying? But I've been friends with gonorrhea before. Me and her went to high school together. And you know, a little gonorrhea. Listen now, listen. If you ain't had a little bit of crabs and you ain't had a little bit of gonorrhea, then you ain't lived. Okay, you ain't lived. Listen, that's what they make penicillin for.
That's nasty.
Bitch, you nasty. You
No, sir.
Y'all, listen. This is why I don't like working with y'all, because y'all be trying to act so classy. I can look at both of y'all. And Claudia, you are of the industry. I am not the only person on this panel who has had an STD before.
No one said that, Q.
Oh, okay. Well, which ones you had?
Cut it out. No one said that, but we can't pretend like, it's okay. I mean, it's
it
cool.
Ain't okay, but it ain't the end of the world. Penicillin to cure it.
But you got to remember, Q, if you continue to get gonorrhea and continue to use penicillin, you then become immune to penicillin and you can't get rid of it.
Then you can use doxycycline.
How you know?
Or clindamycin.
How you know?
Don't ask me. No.
How you know, Q?
Well, I'm at the level where penicillin still work on me. Okay.
Good.
I ain't had it that many times.
Now, the sad part here, though, this is clearly a public health issue for that state. This is the highest it's been in decades. When you think off the heels of COVID, it wouldn't be that high. The other interesting part is the CDC is located in the state. So the CDC is failing the state of Georgia. And you know what's so super interesting about this? Augusta is number 6 in the country with the highest rates of STDs. And actually, the state of Georgia has 3 cities with the highest rate of STDs. And you know why Augusta has the highest rate? They're ranked number 6 in the country for STDs. They say it's because they are near a military base. How interesting is that?
My mother and father met at a military base, and my mother told me that back in the 70s, how nasty it was, that people's wives was getting trains ran on them. It was like no one batted an eye. And that was back then. She said it was so disgusting, that stuff that was going on the military base that's supposed to be so upstanding, and that they really get it down, get down with it. Allegedly. All right, we got to take a quick break because we have still some more show.
We need to go to a military. Look at you.
It sounded a little liberating.
FOXSOUL people, can y'all put me with some non-STD carriers? We got to go to commercial. They nasty. Welcome back to TGIF. Shout out to our the head of FOXSOUL, executive producer, Joyce. I know she's enjoying her crab legs on a Friday night like she always does. So we just want to shout her out and say hello. Hey, Joyce. Hey. All right, Joe. Before we go, we want
Shady.
So we finna get to the question portion. So Claudia, the people want to know what all STDs have you had?
I've had no STDs in my 49 years. That's why I be laughing every time you be talking like that. I've never had chlamydia. I've never had gonorrhea. I've never had syphilis. I've never had none of that nonsense. So, sorry. Yes.
Al, same question for you.
I think I've had chlamydia.
Think?
I'm pretty sure I've had chlamydia. Yeah.
Now, this guy I was talking to in college got crabs and I didn't get him. He told me he put his cousin's jeans on and got crabs. I said, if you don't shut the hell up with this nonsense.
But you know what? To his defense, that may be true, because when I got crabs in college, I got it from the dorm. And back then we didn't wash our jeans. And I didn't know no better. And after I cured it, I put the jeans back on, and sure as shit stank, I got them crabs again. I had a whole seafood buffet swimming between my legs, shoulder.
You sure it wasn't from the next gentleman caller?
No, because I was straight in college. I wasn't having gentleman callers.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, I like that you just start up the questions. Al, do you have any questions? Do you see anything?
Jade wants to know, is Joyce Trina's cousin?
I don't know.
The baddest bitch, Trina. If I could do it again, I'd be fucking by the time I'm 10. That Trina. Not this Joyce.
I want to ask Al, do you see yourself marrying a lady again?
I'm open. I'm starting to be more open. I think it depends on It could be a lady, it could be a man. It depends on, if the vibe is right.
Okay.
I got one. Claudia, have you ever participated in a threesome?
No, I haven't. But during sex, if I'm really into a guy, and like especially in the beginning, like I might offer that up and say that, and maybe mean it in the moment. But then usually when we get deep in the relationship, I'd be like, "Psych, nigga!" Like you know what I mean? I've said that in the meeting, like in the moment, like as some sexy talk.
Girl on girl, or would you be down with two guys?
With a girl, I think two men would be too violent. You know what I mean? Like I don't need all that wear and tear in my body.
You like a little violence. You said in your role playing, you like for him to get a little rough with you.
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I do.
I
haven't. But see, not everybody knows how to choke properly, and some guys do it where you feel like it's really an assault. It's not sexy. It's like, hold up, it feels like. How do
I have a question. I have a question
strength?
real quick for Q and Claudia. Lights on or lights off while having sex?
Soft light. So candlelight. I've got a thing that shoots starlights on the sky, or like I'll have my laptop open with like the music playing.
Gotcha. Claudia?
I like to see. I'm a visual person. Like I know men are usually visual, but I think I have a little masculine energy. So I definitely like to watch and look at it like.
That question was from Tippy B, everybody, just so you know.
This was fun.
It was. Oh, we gotta go. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Thank you, Funky. Thank you, Al. Stay tuned for a new episode of Tracks and Tales. Have a great weekend. And I like this. We had fun with this. We'll see you next week. Bye.
All right.